Application of the mitigation goal standard follows a series of steps that vary depending on the type of goal chosen, how far along the jurisdiction is in designing or implementing its mitigation goal, and resources available. Let's follow a simple example to illustrate these steps. The first step is designing a mitigation goal. The output might be a goal such as this: a single-year base year emissions goal for a national jurisdiction to reduce GHG emissions by 20% relative to 1990 levels by 2020. The goal covers all 7 greenhouse gases under the Kyoto Protocol, all IPCC sectors, the entire land sector, and all in-jurisdiction emissions. The goal will allow for the use of transferable emission units, but they may not account for more than 3% of overall reductions, and they will be generated through the Clean Development Mechanism. A transaction log will be used to prevent double counting between the selling and purchasing jurisdictions. Once the goal is designed, the next step is estimating the base year or baseline scenario emissions, depending on the goal type. In the example of our simplified goal, base year emissions need to be calculated as it is a base year emissions goal. The base year emissions goal in 1990 are 900 megatons CO2 equivalents. The next step is deciding how to account for the land sector. Since a significant amount of emissions and removals from the land sector can be due to non-anthropogenic sources, for example windstorms, the jurisdiction may choose to apply methods for accounting for this sector that differ from inventory approaches. In our example, a land-based accounting approach is used with comprehensive coverage of all carbon pools and fluxes. No natural disturbance mechanism is adopted. Don't worry if some of these terms or concepts are not familiar to you. We will explain them in more detail as we progress in applying the standard. Once we know our base year emissions and we know how we are going to treat the land sector, we can start calculating the allowable emissions for the target year, the emissions level that will result if the goal is achieved. In this example, allowable emissions are calculated using the percentage reduction defined in the goal along with the base year emissions. The goal stated a 20% reduction of the base year emissions, or 900 megaton CO2 equivalent minus 20% of 900 megaton CO2 equivalent, equaling 720 megatons CO2 equivalent in the target year. This is the value that will be compared against to indicate whether the goal has been achieved or not. Other goal types, such as baseline scenario or fixed level goals, have a different approach for calculating allowable emissions. We will explore these later. In many cases, waiting until the end of the goal period is insufficient for making decisions on mitigation strategies during the goal period. This is why many choose to assess progress towards the goal during the goal period to determine the remaining emissions reductions needed to achieve the goal and what reductions have been achieved so far. In our example, emissions were determined to be 800 megatons CO2 equivalent in the reporting year of 2013. Since our allowable emissions were determined to be 720 megatons CO2 equivalent, we would require a further reduction of 80 megatons CO2 equivalent by 2020, our target year. Once the target year arrives at the end of the goal period, the accountable emissions are determined, including any transferable emissions units and calculations of changes of net emissions in the land sector depending on its treatment. In our example, the accountable emissions equal the emissions within the goal boundary of the target year plus transferable emission units sold in the target year and subtracting transferable emission units retired in the target year. The total is 720 megatons CO2 equivalent, which is the same as the allowable emissions calculated earlier. So the goal has been achieved. The next two steps in the process are verification and reporting. Verification is often done using a third-party verifier that provides reasonable assurance that the process of applying the standard was conducted in a transparent, consistent, and accurate manner. Verification is optional in the standard, but highly encouraged. The last step is reporting. This is carried out through the Goal Assessment Report, which is made publicly available. This report ensures that the process used for applying the standard and determining whether the goal was achieved or not is transparent so that it becomes a valuable document for policymakers and stakeholders. The posting of this public report is the final stage of applying the standard. Although some may apply the mitigation goal standard from start to finish and report on all areas of the standard, others may choose only to apply the standard at specific points in the process. For example, a user might report on design only at the beginning of the goal period or during implementation in the middle of the goal period. The standard was designed so that you can apply different parts of the standard at any point and report according to the reporting requirements for each.